big of a fight is Chandler and McGregor? That's not an easy question. It's not an easy question because Conor's going to have help. Now, he's had it before. He had it with Nate Diaz. He even had it with Aldo. He built that, but he needed Aldo that night. He had it with Eddie, 17.4 at a gate at MSG, first time ever in New York, right? They had a few things that added to it. But he's also not had help. His first time with Poirier, he didn't have any help. Time there with Dennis Seaver, he didn't have any help. I mean, where I can play this game, I'm just offering for you that Chandler works. Chandler's a top 5 draw. Go see the numbers that Chandler did when he took on Gaethje at the Garden. Go see the numbers that Chandler just did when he took on Poirier. He's a big deal. You then have the added bonus of the single greatest marketing vehicle that our sport has ever had. It's not a press conference. It's not a title fight. It's not a BMF. It's not Bring Out the Rock. It's The Ultimate Fighter. The single greatest marketing vehicle this sport has ever had. And it's still king, right? You want to act like Conor's not still on top. Red Panda Night's still real. So now you're bringing these things together. I don't know how much of a bounce that gives you. There's guys that would. There's numbers. I got a buddy, Stephen Techie. He could do that. He could look at that and give you a real good idea what's going to shine what. But if we're out here guessing, tell you somebody that's got a right to an opinion, that's Michael Chandler. Michael Chandler said 2 million. Now, I was fine with that. But that sure wasn't shooting for the stars. I mean, if you're going to grab the top 10 pay-per-views of all time, all of them belong to McGregor. By the way, top 10 is all McGregor. And 3 and 2 and 1 have moved down the list when he came in and beat himself. But you're going to see some 2 millions in there. Now, that's a big number. That's a rare number. You do 1 million in the pay-per-view business, you just hit a grand slam. You're in very rare air. Fellow pay-per-view promoters will stand back and treat you with respect. It doesn't matter if you're doing a concert, a WrestleMania, a fist fight. It doesn't make any difference. If you could do 1 million, you're very rare. So I'm talking about 2. I mean, this is big. But the top 5 draw in the sport. I can't remember last time Conor was in there with a top 5 draw in the sport. I really can't. Chandler's top 5. Conor's number 1. You then have, right, I mean, if you guys spent an hour studying economics, you wasted 45 minutes. Supply and demand. That's it. Well, now you got supply and demand in your site, too. I don't know how many more Conor McGregors we're going to have. I can just tell you how many we have had recently, and we haven't. And then you have the Ultimate Fighter. I'm just looking at Chandler's number. It's a very different business now, even than when Conor left, right? What Jon Jones is walking into is night and day. But even when Conor left a year and a half ago, it's a very different business. 2 million, wonderful night. I'm just sharing with you guys. Why don't we get behind that? You know, we haven't done that in a long time. We haven't got behind a pay-per-view number in a long time. You want to know what time we did it? And it was fun. It was UFC 100. And Dana said, I can't remember the number. I think he said 1.4. If we do 1.4, I'll jump off the Mandalay Bay. I think that was the number 1.4. They did 1.75. Dana said, hey, I never meant that. Hey, my word's good. I was kidding when I said it. You guys know I'll die, but I will make it up to you. And he did. He did something. It was like a free TV, and he brought in all the stars. I'm having a hard time remembering because it goes back quite a while. I'm just sharing for you. There is a case study in history where we put a number out there. We thought that it was very lofty, but we advertised it to the world, and we got behind it. Why don't we do that for this one? I mean, I can see that. Can't you see that? I can see Conor versus Chandler. I can see his shirt on the back of it. It says 2 point, and it's got a big question mark. I mean, I could see where we do that, and I think that Chandler is not that far off. It's a different business, but that's still within the sights. You got the Ultimate Fighter. You got a top 5 versus number 1. Red Panty Night is real. Number 1 contendership possibly put on the line. I mean, right, you've kind of already got everybody. How many cherries do you want to put on there? But then you're going to do it once ever. You're going to do it in the main event. You're going to do it for up to 5 rounds. You're going to do it with a guy who's healing. Come on. Let's help him out. It's 7 months away, but let's come up with a plan. And let's get him $2 million.